Thank you, Shadel. That's a very good, inspirational and how you're helping people. It's true, like when you're happy, you make your people happy, then everybody else is happy too.
Mhm.
Yeah, but there are a lot of things that we can take from your story. I think a lot of the people attending, especially from the origin countries, they can see how you can help your, just not for your company, but also your neighbors and then grow together. Just like they say, you go by yourself, you can go fast, but if you want to go far, you go with the group, right? So you are also uplifting your neighbors. So all of you listening, if you're, you see how you can help your neighbors. And then, like, for example, if you just ship the chocolate, it's going to be more expensive. People are not going to pay in addition to the expensive chocolate. But when you make a package and, the shipping charge is shared by everyone, so everyone benefits. And another problem you told is shipping in the in a warmer climate. Don't worry, next webinar, actually we are having a webinar, and the after the 2 Saturdays after the 22nd. And Estelle Tracy from Well Tempered, she has done a lot of experiments shipping chocolate in the hot weather, and she's going to talk about how efficiently you can ship it. It's not like very expensive, and it goes there in without losing the tempering or anything, because a lot of people from the warm countries, they ask when they have to ship the chocolates for the US for the awards or anything. Most of the time it's so expensive to ship, and also sometimes it loses the temper, and it then they lose the opportunity to get the award. So please tune in, and all of you will get them benefit from that webinar also. So we always like to, share the inspiring stories. So all of you, if any of you have any story to share, please feel free to contact us. We will be happy to present your story. So it'll help everyone. It's not just helping your brand; you are also helping other people. Thank you.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And if anybody wants to ask any questions, oh, yes, Teresa is coming. Okay, go ahead, Teresa.
Yes, we do have some questions, but I wanted to ask if they would like to come live, so we can hear your voice and you can talk directly to Shadell and ask your question. I know Shannon has a question and or a comment. There's such lovely comments in the chat section. We'd love to hear from you. There is a raise hand feature at the bottom of the Zoom panel, and if you click that, as you see in my screen, I've clicked it. There's my hand raised. You raise your hand feature. Or use that feature, we will open up your mic. Also see some of our farmers from the Cross Atlantic Collective. If you want to come on in and ask your questions or share anything that you learned from the webinar.
So Teresa, I just wanted to say thank you. I've just read so many beautiful comments, and people are saying that the story is inspirational, and I'm happy that my story can inspire you, because I've been inspired by so many stories and so many people, including Andal. So, and we need to be here for each other, because sometimes it gets pretty lonely and difficult. So knowing that there's a light at the end of the tunnel and that we can make it if we persevere, work hard, and be strategic and focused and be flexible, so thank you for the comments. There is a question here by from Shannon Krause, and the question is about aging, and tell us about the difference that aging makes in your finished chocolate. So we believe that aging just helps to really to mellow the chocolate. Right after chocolate is made, we find that sometimes you can still taste some of the astringency or acidity in the chocolate, and aging just gives it a time to mellow, for some of these volatile flavors to dissipate, and for, I would say, for the true flavor of our cocoa to ring through in the chocolate. We have, I think all of our chocolate makers, we have tested it, and we're all pretty satisfied that the end result is better when we when we age. So for our milk bars, we only age for a month, but we age longer for the dark.
I have a question. You mentioned about having the goats on the farm and the dairy. Do you use the goat milk in your chocolate?
No, we don't, but we have tried making chocolate with goat's milk. It is divine. I absolutely love it, but we don't make powdered milk, and you'd have to, we don't have the equipment to do that. So maybe someday, it can be something, because people always ask about it. So it's something that we can look at. It would be pretty special. We let you know.
Yes, because you have to powder, right? Because you can't use the wet product. You have to turn it into a powder. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, looks like we have a question. Oh,
See,
Shannon
I
has another
encourage
question.
you to, ask your questions yourself. Just practice talking, because as a company owners, you have to present your stuff to other people. So don't be shy. We are only like 12 people here. We are all friends. So don't worry. Nobody's judging you. Just, yeah, good. Two people raise the hand, please. There is a let them talk, and thank you.
Okay, yes, Shannon, you are live to talk.
Okay, thank you. Well, I just had another question. It was a great presentation. I appreciate it. You mentioned the additions that you make, like spices or fruits or nuts that go into your chocolate. And, some of those are easy to add because they're already preserved. But have you had experience adding materials that aren't already shelf stable? And what do you do to help make sure that it doesn't negatively impact the shelf life of the products that you have?
Yeah, we haven't ventured into that yet. So, all our spices that we use are, are dried spices that are, shelf stable, and that have not negatively impacted our products. So, but maybe somebody else has had that experience. So, yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Okay, Althea George.
We can't also want to open their video so we can also see all the people.
You can't. It doesn't in the webinar mode. We can't. I wish we could. We would love to see them. Unless someone knows of a way, but my understanding is in webinar mode. We can only hear them.
Good morning.
Hello, hello. Nice to hear you.
It's been a while.
Yes.
I really enjoyed the presentation. Actually, I'm in production right now, and so I'm just like listening in, and I really enjoyed it. I want to say to Shadel. I remember meeting her sometime in Dominica. I'm Afoli George.
Hello, Ashley. Good to hear from you. Sorry I can't see you. I'm glad to hear that you're in production.
Yeah, well, I've been off for a bit because, as we know, to go, if you want to go far, you have to go with a group. So I've been working with a group of farmers, trying to get them to understand the need for proper fermentation and drying. Because Dominica is a place where we are now getting into that fine flavor quality of beans. We've been doing cocoa beans and we had Maria, but right now as we're getting back into the industry, we have to educate the farmers as what it needs, what it takes, proper fermenting and drying. So that kind of took a lot out of me for the past couple months. So I'm just right now getting back on track, and just happy to be able to see that the link came and you all guys are on. And congratulations on the work that's been done for the past couple months. I really enjoyed just listening in and just knowing that you guys are still here for us, those of us starting up and willing to make impacts in our communities. So I just want to express my thanks and gratitude for all what you've been doing for the past time. All right. Take care. I wish you guys could see me because right now I'm in production, but yeah.
Thank you so much, Athley. Wishing you all the best, and hopefully we'll see you sometime soon.
Yeah.
Okay, I just figured out what I can do. If you would like to be seen, I can promote you to panelists.
Well, I'm willing to share, of course. Sure.
Okay. You're a panelist, so all you have to do now is open your camera. Open your video. Haha.
Hello,
Hmm,
Atlee.
you can also open the your video.
Yes, Shannon, let me do it as well.
We lost your audio.
Just oh, let me just, there you go.
Thank you. Background, because I still have my logo as my background, so I have to try and change that around. How do I do that?
Or you can go to the video, the little video, and then there's a little tent, and click that button, and then you can change your background.
Yeah, that's I'm looking at it right now. I'm in the background mode and then not. Okay, there we go.
Ah,
So I'm practically still in cottage style, right? I'm working on funding for a separate factory space from my home. So I'm still in cottage style, but I'm using this grinder. I'm doing cocoa sticks today because we're in independence season, and a lot of visiting Dominicans are calling and they're asking for cocoa sticks. So I'm doing cocoa sticks today, but I have the melange cleaned out. The RB, melange cleaned out and preparing to do just a small batch of chocolate, Yeah. So I have the cocoa weighed out already. It's about 8 pounds, which I'm going to share in half. So my little space is something like that. Just a small, my living room, I just seal it up for production really. And that's where I'm at. So I just getting back into production more recently.
oh.
And as you spoke about the dry ingredients, that's all dry ingredients that I use for my production. I'm just weighing it out now and preparing for, and there the cocoa butter, pure cocoa fat to use for the chocolate. Yeah. So I'm just sharing because I haven't been on in a while.
That's great, Atlee. Thank you for sharing that. We all started small. And the truth is, when we talk about cocoa chocolate journey, we actually, most of the chocolate makers here would have started making cocoa balls. What Atlee is calling cocoa sticks. In Dominica, they're made as sticks. In Grenada, they're made as balls, and they're a classic traditional chocolate drink. So that's where we all started.
Yeah, well, because it's our tradition, I have chosen to keep it like that. Right now,
Yes.
a lot of people are doing it other ways, but I got some ice molds, ice tray molds.
Yeah.
That I modified just so that I use a depositor like what they use for cake, and I put pegs in there. I deposit, and when it's dry, I open it and I have my sticks ready.
Great innovation.
Yeah.
Wishing you all the best.
Yes,
Come and
Wish you all the best.
come and visit us in Grenada someday, and hopefully I'll get back to Dominica sometime.
Nice to see you guys. Thanks for having
Good
me.
to see you.
No, see, the thing for everyone is even Dandelion. Now they have like 2 factories in San Francisco, in Japan, but they started in their garage with a small machine experimenting. So just think of the future, think positive, you will succeed.
Well,
I promoted Solomon and Shannon both to panelists. If you'd like to open your camera, we'll all, if you can do that, we'd love to see you.
There's
in Dominica, why is it coming? Here in Dominica, we have a unique opportunity because chocolate making is something relatively new. And well, kind of, there have been people doing it, well, maybe like 2, but indigenously to Dominicans, it's kind of new. So it's a unique opportunity to have to do something substantial. So here we go.
If you don't want to open the camera, that's fine. Just you can ask the question.
There is here's a question from,
Hi,
is it?
sorry.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry. I thought I just jumped in. Hi, everyone. Hi, Miss Balu. Hi, Teresa. It's been a minute. Athi, how are you doing? Good to see you on here as well after a while. Hello, Shadel.
Hello, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Greetings from Kampala, Uganda, the Pearl of
wow.
Africa. We make the finest chocolate in Africa after Ghana, maybe. I got in a little bit late after the presentation, but I think I got a lot of the gist. A beautiful presentation. I love the farm. I think what stood out for me most was how you blended the history into the products and the service that you're delivering. How you've diversified to do more than just chocolate and include spices, the trips, the tours. I think part of the cross Atlantic is Caribbean, and they're always talking about the Belmont, the Grenada, I think trips and whatnot and so forth. It's really exciting. My questions, I think I have two. I loved the fact that you had a variety of chocolate bars. I love the spice. I took a screenshot. I'm stealing one of your recipes. I'm going to try it out here of the turmeric and ginger and the vanilla. I think it's a spice bar, so it's really exciting.
Coconuts.
And coconut. Unfortunately, I can't get the coconut milk easily, so I'll have to think of something. But I'm really excited. My question is how important is it for you as a business to have a variety of chocolate products, specific to chocolate? How important is it to have a variety, and how often do you think it is? If you're talking about the variety, do you have them throughout the season? Do you have standardized chocolate bars that you think it's easier to have? Because our challenges as startups are usually going to be around areas of branding and packaging. It's not very easy to get them. So if you keep on changing the bars, as much as you'd love to, it becomes a bit expensive and difficult to pull off cost-wise. And we're a very price sensitive market regarding chocolate. The second question is, how important is your local market? I can see you're making efforts at export, and of course facing all the challenges I think we all face when you're trying to reach global markets, including logistics and actual marketing and in standards. How important is the local market for your business, the business model? Is it something I know that's maybe say 50% or 60% of sales are local Grenada or the Caribbean and whatnot and so forth. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for your question, Solomon. So first question regarding the chocolates that we make. So we do have 4 bars that are our original bars that are our standard bars. Okay, all of the other bars, we are making them as seasonal bars now. As you said, the issues of packaging for us here in Grenada, I'm sure they are the same as they are for you. It is extremely costly, and the logistics to get packaging in here, especially when you want to have a high quality kind of look to your bar. So what I actually did this time around in order to facilitate all of these bars that we do, because now we have 13 flavors, I have created, we created a generic dark packaging, and we created a generic milk packaging, and on that we are we put a band on that with a specific name of each bar and the nutritional facts and barcode, so and ingredients. So that way we can use the generic packaging for many bars. And then for the bars that we are going to export, which would be our primary bars and probably 1 or 2 of the others, then we have to invest in specific packaging for those. So that's the way we're doing it. And yeah, we're doing our chocolates now seasonally. We just cannot keep up with all of these flavors year round. However, it's important for our brand to be able to offer diversity. I mean, we're known for always kind of scaling up and, you know, our innovation and offering new products. And people come to us because they're expecting to find something new. They're expecting to, you know, to sample something different. So we're keeping that mostly for our local and for our tourist market. Okay, I hope that answers that question. How important is our tourist market? I mean, our local market, very important. Yes, indeed, we do cater to our tourist market mostly, and our export market is important as well, and it will be once we can build that. But, you know, I mean, COVID was a prime example of what could happen when you're cut off from your tourist and export market, and you have to depend on, you know, your local market to see you through. As a matter of fact, we got into a lot of these white bars, that white line of spices coming out of COVID. Our local market here just couldn't be bothered to buy chocolate during the pandemic. You know, we're not big dark chocolate eaters, but the cocoa powder was important for the chocolate, for the local market. So cocoa butter being a natural byproduct of the cocoa powder, we were able to now have this cocoa butter in abundance that we used for making a sweeter bar that our local market loved. So our local market is really into the white chocolates, the flavored ones. So we're able to satisfy them with that. And the cocoa balls and cocoa powders, which are also an important part of our product line, are geared towards our local market. You know, outside of chocolates specifically, in terms of our business overall, local market is again very important. We rely on our local customers to use our restaurant. It's used a lot by our locals for, you know, special events and, you know, weddings and special celebrations, birthdays and family reunions and events like that. So we try to keep a good balance between our tourist and local market. Did that answer the question for you, Solomon?
Absolutely, absolutely. Very beautiful insight. Thank you.
You're welcome. And all the best with your business.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hope to get to Uganda one day.
You would definitely, I think it's everyone, there's an open invitation. If you ever make it round, we'll have some beautiful, beautiful places. Just check us out. I think one of the most beautiful places in this world.
Yes, I have seen that.
Good, good, good.
So I think there was an interesting question about planting, so intercropping cocoa with other fruits and spices and the effect that it has on the flavor profiles. And that's really exciting for us. And it's something that we are about to experiment with. So I know that there's been some research out there about that. And I am, you know, I think we're going to do our own research at Belmont to see what we come up with. We believe, we believe that the flavor of our chocolate is affected by the spices that it grows with. I mean, we have seen that there are spice notes in our chocolate. In our dark chocolate, there are spice notes. Of course, there are also dark fruit notes. And some of our cocoa is grown exclusively with spices. We do have some fields that it's intercropped with bananas and with mango and guava. So we intend to really invest in studying this so that we can have a scientific answer for this question one day, and not just our impressions. So we will have more on that sometime in the future, but just from our sensory perception, we believe strongly that there is some influence on flavor based on, what cocoa is intercropped with.
While folks are thinking of their questions, I have a question. You talked about walking the cocoa can you share something a little more about that tradition? What
Yeah,
that means, walking the cocoa?
certainly. So I think you may have seen the pictures. So cocoa, we dry our cocoa traditionally outdoors in the open sunlight in these trays that we call drawers. So I mean, those are pull and push out drawers, and we traditionally had these others that we call roofs. They were like V-shaped roofs that also pushed out, and cocoa was left out there to dry. So when rain comes, everybody's got to run out and push them back inside. Now we have the covered drying houses. Those were actually built by Mott Green, and so we use those for drying as well. So on the open trays, we walk through the cocoa. So we actually get in there and we shove through the cocoa, because it's a way of just turning the cocoa over, exposing it to more sunlight, to more heat, and to more air, so that the drying process is sped up. So it's something that we do about every half an hour once we have cocoa outside drying in the sun. So the same thing happens with a rake. So, we can use a rake to, rake the cocoa through to give it more, to expedite the drying process. So we also dance the cocoa. So in those big copper pots, we dance like we trample on grapes, and dancing the cocoa was a means of polishing the cocoa beans. So in the old days, when we exported cocoa to Europe, which we still do, but in the old days it was required that cocoa was polished, because when cocoa dries, there is residue of the pulp on the cocoa that makes the pulp, and that makes the cocoa bean appear to not be smooth. So it's a little bit rough, and some of the buyers wanted to have a smooth bean. It was just basically for aesthetic purposes that cocoa was polished, and the traditional way of polishing was to put it into one of these copper pots, to sprinkle some water on it, and then to dance on it in a particular way, so that, the friction would remove the dried pulp. After that, we got machines for doing that, and we still have our equipment, but we try to do everything naturally in the sun now and not use any equipment, especially since most of our cocoa is used for making chocolate right at the farm.
Yeah, I have seen in another farm in Grenada. Yeah, people pay to come and walk the beans
Mhm.
because it's more relaxing, and you're in the sunlight, you're getting your vitamin D, and you're helping turn, and it is a nice experience. I think people who have not tried, I encourage them to go try it.
It is both walking and dancing. So usually for the dancing experience, we would have some drummers there, and we'd have some music, and it's, a little bit of it's a fun, dance experience. And people would say, oh, it's a good, either of them are good massages for your feet, and our guests normally would enjoy it. It's a really memorable part of the experience, of the cocoa experience.
Yeah, I miss the dance. I have to come back then.
You have to come back for that. I'd love to see you do that dance in a sari.
Well, when you plan that trip, Mrs. Balu, I want to come. I already looked up how long it takes to fly, 7 hours and 6 minutes.
Only 3.5 hours, or 3 hours from Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I just have to get to Miami.
Yeah,
From Atlanta.
We could drive to Miami.
right.
Mrs. Bella says no.
It's like 14-hour drive, Teresa.
Uh-huh.
I know, but I could make a 14-hour drive to make a 3-hour flight.
Somebody's thinking of retiring here in Grenada, so I think that's a fantastic idea. I'm here. I would encourage you to do that. It's a good place to retire and to get into a little cocoa farm,
I have a question about a feeling. Knowing about the Grenada Cocoa Association, and that cocoa in many countries is sold at a commodity where the farmers don't get to set the price. Do you feel that making chocolate at origin is somewhat of an act of rebellion? Would you say?
Wow. This is a very political question, Teresa.
I don't mean it to be specifically,
No, I'm
but
just,
it gives the feeling of giving power back to the people that are doing the work.
yeah, absolutely. It's a big issue here, both for cocoa and nutmeg. Both are regulated by statute, by law. So these are laws going back to the 1950s that we need to revisit. So these are conversations that have been continuing for some time now, so that because cocoa farmers are not allowed to export their beans or their nutmegs directly. So we must sell to the Nutmeg Association, a cocoa association, or to receive a license, which sometimes can be difficult to obtain. But so that's a process. So we're hoping that that changes and that things are opened up, and that the association still would absolutely have a role, because not every cocoa farmer wants to, go out there and offer their beans. Some want to, stick with a system that works for them. But we do think that for some of us who want an opportunity to do that, we should be given that opportunity. That said, we do have Belmont Estate does have a license from the Grenada Cocoa Association, and that we're very happy that we've had this opportunity, so that we have an arrangement where we are selling beans to a distributor in the Netherlands called Crafting Market, and our beans are used by a company in France for making chocolate. And it's a single origin, single plantation chocolate that is made by a company called Saveur et Nature. And we've sold to them for 2 years. This year we sold 4 tons. So we're happy that we're able to do that, but we want to see the process easier. And for us, it means that we do have to pay per pound to the Cocoa Association. We have to pay a fee per pound for exporting. So hopefully things are going to change. We expect that things are going to, these are going to be revisited, that the legislation would be revised, and it would be more suited for the, the business and trade environment that exists today. So yeah, you touched an issue that is close to our hearts, and saying that it is an act of rebellion is it's shed some light on what our situation is, right? So so being able to produce chocolate with our cocoa is certainly, it's a great option for us, since we're not freely able to export our beans.
Thank you for delicately answering the question. And I apologize. I think maybe I put my foot in my mouth in the way that I posed the question.
No. I was just teasing you, because it's something that's I get very emotional and passionate about, and I do have a loud voice on it, but I think in this forum I should be very diplomatic.
Yeah,
I should behave myself here, since I'm in great company. Yeah, but
it is an important issue, I think, that affects a lot of farmers, and
yeah, especially in 2022 we should be able to trade freely, full stop.
Yeah.
So if anyone else does, you have questions, or I think it's a weekday, so if there's no other question, we can, enter.
I have some more questions if everybody wants to hang around. I have a question about, being a 3rd generation cocoa farmer. Do you have some advice for helping keep the tradition alive? Because I know in a lot of places that it's the elder generation, and the younger generations don't have an interest. So is there something inspiring you could say maybe to a younger generation that, you know, will make them want to continue the tradition of their grandfathers and grandmothers?
Yeah. So, so for me, I believe that I was divinely, let's say, divinely ordained to be in this position. You know, I don't take it lightly that I have inherited a family business. And as I told you, my grandparents came from being, you know, almost slaves, you know, indented. My grandparents, they were indented servants. They came here and they worked very, very hard. And I know that my grandparents also worked incredibly hard to build this business. They were, you know, people who only had a basic education, a primary school education, and they were able to build successful businesses. They were they owned many farms. And after my grandfather died, my grandmother only ended up with this estate. So it was very important for me to be able to keep the family tradition alive and to be able to honor their memory by keeping being able to transform the estate. But I also know that all of us who are here, we are in the position that we are because of the work of our ancestors, because of people who went before us, who made a significant contribution. And we can't break that chain. We can't break that cycle. You know, when I eat a fruit from the farm, or when I farm cocoa, I think that this was not planted by me. Most of it was planted by my parents or my grandparents, or even people before that. You know, there is a tamarind tree that we harvest tamarind from, where there is a historic bell that dates back to colonialism, and that tree is probably 200 years old. And I think, you know, we are enjoying the fruits of the labor of others. And so let's give our descendants an opportunity also to enjoy the fruits of our labor by doing the best that we can with the resources and the gifts, and the businesses and the property or the skills, that were given to us. So, my advice would be, it may, sometimes farming business looks difficult, and it is. But this is what keeps us alive. This is, we feed the world, we feed our families, we feed nations. Farming builds economies, and it's one of the most powerful and significant businesses that you could be involved in. So hold your head high. If it means that you have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to plan and to start your day and to strategize. We don't do business this is the way that our foreparents did. We have incredible resources now available to us. Use them, use our networks, collaborate with people, get advice from mentors, but stay the course. Make it happen. Put the time in, and you're going to see the results, and you are eventually going to be proud when you see the returns from your investment of time and money and tears and sweat and blood into your business. So it hasn't been an easy journey, and, sometimes people look and say, oh, it looks so glamorous and everything looks so nice. And people don't know the headache, the heartaches you go through to pay your staff, or to, to invent something new, or just to keep your doors open. But you have to know what resources and who you can depend on to help you through these journeys. And also, just look back on your ancestors and what they did. When I think of, especially being here in the Caribbean, what my ancestors would have done to contribute to where I am today, that just helps to motivate me and keep me focused on the bigger picture. So that was a long answer to your question, but
beautiful, lovely. We do have some more questions. Mrs. Butler, you're asking, or would she like to come forward and ask the question live? I will go ahead and open their mic.
Okay.
Risha, would you like, there.
Oh, hi, morning, everyone. Yes, so I certainly want, thanks for your presentation. I've been following Belmont for a while. I was quite upset that I couldn't be part of the Grenada Cocoa Chocolate Festival, but hopefully soon. The next time I will be.
Looking forward to
I
meeting
did promote you to panelist if you'd like to turn on your camera.
Oh, I may not be able to.
Haha,
Hi,
beautiful.
Risha. I'm trying to figure. Oh, we can't hear you.
Risha, can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, sorry. Yes. So
What island are you from?
I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, but I have interests with cocoa in St. Vincent and the Grenadines because I have a similar story to you. Okay. So I wanted to find out, you know, how long did it take you to rehab your trees? Because I can't remember if, you know, in your story, if it was always under cocoa production or if you had to, you know, prune, trim, you know, trees and how long it took for them to get back into production. And then is most of your estate under cocoa cultivation? Because 300 acres is a lot. So yeah, that's my question.
Okay, so first I have to tell you that I don't know if you live in Trinidad, but Trinidadians have the benefit of having the Cocoa Research Center right at their fingertips. They've been an incredible resource and supports to us. We signed a memorandum of understanding with them a few years ago, and they've been a very important part of our process. So, you know, hats off to Cocoa Research Center and the incredible work they do with cocoa farmers and chocolate makers in Trinidad and in the region. So to answer your question, we are not all under cocoa cultivation. So we're very diverse. Our strategy now in planting is to try to plant some pure stand cocoa trees, but most of our plantation is intercropped with cocoa and nutmegs and other spices and fruits. We also have some space that we have allocated as dry forest areas. So it's very diverse. As I mentioned, we have been in the cocoa business since the 1700s. So we've had cocoa on the estate for many, many years. The work of rehabilitation is a continuous one. But we did have a lot of damage in Hurricane Ivan in 2004, where we lost most of our trees were damaged, about 80% of our trees. It took us about 5 years to get back into our production. And so we've been continuing to plant trees. I mean, the pruning process is continuous by, you know, we would do fields at a time. So it's a continuous growing process, but we've had the benefit of having trees on the estate for many years.
Thank you.
Hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does.
I think we've touched on all the.
Yeah, I think we touched on also. I think we can close like 10 minutes early because it's a work day. I think a lot of people are trying to get back to work. So thank you, Shadel, so much. And we learned a lot. And with, you know, the chocolate, like Mayari once said, cocoa is more than chocolate. And that's true. Like the cocoa farm, you know, you can have multiple spices and you can sell the spices. You can insert the spices into your cocoa, you know, and chocolate. And also you are giving to the community, you are helping the community. So thank you for, you know, all the things. I think it'll be very motivational. It'll give a lot of ideas for other people to how they can grow their business and their neighbors' business too, by collaborating with the other people in the community. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you so much for the opportunity to present today. I'm really very, very grateful, and also to make some new friends. and
Yeah.
thanks for making the process easy for me, Teresa. I appreciate it. So wishing
Sure,
everybody
sure.
all the best and hoping to meet all my new friends soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, all the
If
people who
Well,
participated. So, because without them, this webinar would not have happened.
yes. Thanks again, Andel. You've been great. Really
and if we
appreciate it.
missed any of the questions, is it okay? We send them to you, Shadel, and
Absolutely.
you?
Absolutely.
Wonderful, because I see
Yeah.
a couple popping in.
Oh, okay.
And so we'll send them to Shadel and she'll answer them, and we'll add it to the follow-up email that we'll send out.
Yes. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Yes, thank you.
So we'll see you in the next webinar, and Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Thank you.